When you're talking about Aaron Gordon having successful games, it was basically 1, 2, 5, and 6. But in games 3 and 4, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were both doing their thing, and they both seemed unstoppable. What I would say to you is that Coach Malone lamented their defense. He placed in the desert. They weren't themselves, and then they got on track again. Obviously won Game 5 and then closed out Phoenix in a blowout win in Game 6. I'm saying if you're LeBron James, Aaron Gordon is not somebody you can easily back down and push around.
His moves at the deadline, making this roster whole and complete and complementary to their 2 stars. This is where I think the Lakers have an advantage, and that's why I bring up Anthony Davis as the most important player, Stephen A.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be LeBron for the Lakers. It's going to be Anthony Davis.
Well, let me slightly disagree with you. I didn't feel that way. I actually totally agree with you about Anthony Davis, at least to some degree, not totally, but at least some degree, until a point you just made. The point that you just made has me thinking maybe it's LeBron. Here's why. Because with Aaron Gordon being such a key, maybe he's the one who should be attacked. Maybe because with him and his defensive prowess, if somehow
listening to me, you didn't understand what I just said. I don't think
Please
you grasped a very specific word that I used.
Okay.
Aaron Gordon in the half court. Okay, when we talk about half court offense, LeBron James is not somebody who's flying off screens, moving without the basketball. Neither is Kevin Durant. Aaron Gordon has the size, the strength, the athleticism. We saw multiple times so far in these playoffs, like LeBron James in the half court having trouble getting by his primary defender. That's a fact. And Aaron Gordon is as good as anyone at guarding LeBron. The Lakers' strength, Stephen A., is getting out in transition. LeBron James' strength,
he's not somebody that LeBron James is going to easily post up the way that he did with other people. But you got to figure out a way to compromise his presence defensively. And if you're able to do that by attacking him, getting him into foul trouble, what have you, that could bode well for the Los Angeles Lakers. But I think in order to pull that off, you got to slow the ball down to some degree, which the Lakers may want to do, even though for a few games this postseason they were leading everybody in fast break points. If you're willing to go slow, you might disrupt what Denver wants to do to some degree, and that also may work to your advantage. So I get what you're saying about Anthony Davis, but because of what you elaborated on in regards to Aaron Gordon, it might end up being that that's the one.
Not about slowing it down. It's about speeding it up and getting easy baskets in transition.
Fair enough, but I don't think you understand what I'm saying, with all due respect, J.J. Redick. What I'm saying to you is that, that works with everybody else, and I understand what you're talking about. But if Aaron Gordon is such a problem defensively, attacking him and compromising him to some degree may bode well for them as the series wanes. I understand what the Lakers have been able to do in the open court, particularly this postseason. I'm saying I don't know if that'll be enough if you're just going tit for tat against one another. You got to compromise somebody in order to achieve postseason success. And I'm saying, as we're sitting here talking about it, as you were enlightening this audience about what Aaron Gordon brings to the table, I was simply making the point. Maybe you attack him. Because if you attack him to some degree, who knows what you'll be able to do as the series wanes. That's all I was trying to say.
Well, guess what? We're going to find out at 8:30 Eastern tonight, and you're going to get a set prior on NBA Countdown. But, gentlemen, now that they're checking on what Vegas thinks for these NBA Conference Finals as the Celtics take on the Heat and the...
When Chuck Daly was coaching the Detroit Pistons, and Isaiah Thomas would constantly remind me that Chuck Daly and them was like, guard your man. Guard your man, straight up. We're not trying to double every damn possession. Make sure you stay in front of your man, guard him, fight through them damn screens. Do what you have to do. I'm not saying that's easier to do in this day and age. I'm certainly not trying to imply that at all. But I think that Boston can be elite defensively when called upon to do so. And they have not just one, but two weapons they can rely upon offensively, not to mention even a Smart can hit a three. Derek White can hit perimeter shots. Malcolm Brogdon can hit perimeter shots. Al Horford can hit perimeter shots.
With the Nuggets, Lakers, and Heat behind them, respectively. Stephen A., the question is, who should be favored to win it all? Celtics or Nuggets?
I think it should be the Boston Celtics. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from Denver, not trying to take anything away from them, and they are really fun to watch, and Jokic is something special, no doubt about that. But I believe Jason Tatum is special. I believe the combination of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is special. And I think that Boston is one of the rare teams that, listen, you can put 5 guys on the court. They don't have to double. Sometimes I'm looking at them, I'm like, why are you doubling? Everybody, every one of them can guard at times when you see them. It could be a Derek White. It could be a Marcus Smart. It could be, obviously, Tatum and Brown with Williams or what have you. I'm looking at them. Why double anybody? You can man up. I think back to the 8 shots for crying out loud. I'm looking at Boston. I'm looking at them in the finals last year, how that experience I think would be helpful. I think they're on a mission. And I think right now, as you look at them, although Miami is formidable and they're on their own mission and Denver's no joke and the Lakers have LeBron and AD, I think right now, when you're looking at the 4 teams remaining, it's justifiable to call the Boston Celtics the favorite to win it all.
Hey, Stephen, just a quick question, because, again, I didn't start watching basketball until 1992. If the Pistons were so good guarding their man, why did they need the Jordan rules?
Why did they need the Jordan rules?
Yeah.
Because it's Jordan.
All right, just wondering.
I mean, I don't know why you'd wonder about that one.
We got a lot of basketball to play, and we'll get into, more on this with Nuggets, Lakers, Heat, Celtics. Look at the 4 teams left. To me, the favorite should be the Denver Nuggets. They've got the best player in the playoffs right now. They get the best player left in the playoffs in Nikola Jokic. They've got a complimentary sidekick. Let me elaborate on that in a second. But they got a complimentary sidekick in Jamal Murray, where when you need to create good offense, you have actions you can run with your 2. Not a fatal flaw. We can't argue with the success they've had. But at times, especially late game, I have concerns about the Boston Celtics in terms of what sets their running and how the 2 best players complement each other. I think the Nuggets have their 2 best players complement each other. And then the third thing, the pieces fit. Them bringing in KCP, trade with Washington, Christian Brown through the draft, Bruce Brown with the taxpayer middle with Jokic and Murray. I think it's ultimately the Nuggets that are the favorites right now.
Well, I'm very proud of you for admitting, because I was going to bring up the fact that you had been saying for months that the Boston Celtics were the most complete team. So I'm glad you reminded our audience of that.
Those 3 guys, they just fit in the playoffs. They're big. They can guard multiple positions. They can knock down threes. Bruce Brown's production off the bench, they put the ball in his hands and let him play pick and roll against bench units. This feels like as complete a team as the Boston Celtics. And I've said all season long, the Celtics have the most complete team. But this feels like it. And when you add in the fact that they have the best player in Jokic and the
game, you're able to get him into foul trouble. You're able to get him